What's up everybody, Nate here, and we're in a growing economy right now where more and more people are picking up side hustles, and one of those side hustles is content creation. Over the last 15 years or so, the digital economy has expanded, and now there are millions of Americans who are making their income solely off of content they create online. Growing up, there was no such thing as a YouTuber, and making money on the internet was not really a thing yet. In fact, if you asked somebody what a YouTuber was, they'd probably look at you like you're crazy. And now instead of looking at movie stars or scientists or all of these other different careers, we have kids aspiring to be a YouTuber like Andre Zick and Graham Stephan. But this has also created a lot of danger around misinformation and education online, as pretty much anybody can create a YouTube account and be considered an influencer. And coming from somebody who actually makes videos online, you should never listen to people like me. What I mean by that is financial influencers, or just influencers in general. There is a lot of people online who have opinions, and there's a lot of people online that are going to be saying things about particular things within industries. Now, talking about finance specifically, because that's what I know, I started my YouTube channel about 2 years ago, and I did so as a way to educate people on what I wasn't taught as a kid about financial education, and to just kind of keep people up to date with everything that's going on. So I have a really unique perspective here, because just a couple years ago, I was somebody who was watching Andre Zick and Graham Stephan and all of these other big time financial influencers and YouTubers in the world. Even today, I take a lot of time studying their content. I take a lot of time figuring out the trends within the industry, as we all do. And what I found out after going from a viewer to making YouTube videos to studying these big creators is there are 3 major reasons why you should never listen to a financial influencer or an influencer online in general. What it comes down to is predictions, bias, and misleading info. Now, I'm making this video not to dox anybody and not to call anybody out. I love these financial influencers. Graham Stephan and Andre Zick are inspirations of mine, and I think that they are some of the best to ever do it on YouTube, and probably will be the best for a very long time. This video is just to educate you on what to actually do with the information that these financial YouTubers provide. So the first thing I want to talk about here is predictions. So all of these big financial YouTubers and influencers in general, well, they're going to say big things in order to grab your attention, and they're going to make predictions based on the information that they have. There's actually a really interesting scene about this in The Wolf of Wall Street. If you've ever seen that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, it is a fantastic film, and it basically sums up what stockbrokers and financial influencers know in a nutshell. There's a scene with Matthew McConaughey very early on in the film where they talk about how they're going to try to get investors to spend a lot more money. And one of the things that stockbrokers do is they try to convince investors that the market is going to go up, that there's something else big, and there's another big opportunity that's coming on the horizon. So they need to take all of their earnings and reinvest them. But this is all a big game, and it's how stockbrokers make a lot more money. This is where they bring in the idea of a fugazi or a fugazi. It's completely fake. Nobody, including influencers, stockbrokers, or the president of the United States, knows what is going to happen with any particular market. So when you see financial influencers making these big claims about how the stock market could go down, or how this is a guaranteed investment and this and that, well, you have to keep all of this in perspective. You can be the most educated and experienced stock trader in the known universe, but that doesn't mean that you can predict what the stock market is going to do. And the reason that all of this is so unpredictable is because we're dealing with people, and people are completely unpredictable. Now, the other thing you need to keep in mind here is bias. Now, every single person in the entire world has a bias towards something. How big that bias actually is depends on if the person actually knows about it and they've recognized that they have a bias in the first place. But when it comes to financial influencers and their particular content, well, these financial influencers are going to make content based off what gets viewed. Now, this kind of goes with the first thing when it comes to predictions, and the reason they make big, bold claims and they make these really intense videos on specific topics is because certain topics generate the most revenue. You gotta remember, these big creators, well, they are on YouTube to make money. So they have to make these bold claims because that is what draws in eyes. And most of the time, these videos are particularly particularly negative. I try on this channel to not make things as negative as I possibly can be, and that sometimes means that I get a lot less views, but I want to kind of cultivate an audience that is more positive than negative at the end of the day. The reason clickbait exists is because it's actually a real thing, and newspaper companies and news outlets have been using clickbait headlines and video images and titles for a very long time. They know that a big flashy headline can grab the most eyes, and if they can grab the most eyes, then they can sell more ads. So in short, financial YouTubers are going to pick specific topics that they know can get views, but keep in mind, this is a bias because there is a ton of other stuff going on in the world affecting a lot of other people. But they are cherry picking specific topics because they want to make the most money. And number three, and the last thing, is the info that they actually provide. So you gotta remember here that YouTubers are in the business of grabbing your attention because they want to get views so they can sell more ad revenue, which makes them a lot richer. Now, if you look at an Andre Zick video or a Meet Kevin video or a Graham Stephan video, you'll probably notice a similar trend. A lot of the videos are a similar length. They're usually around maybe like 8 minutes to 15 minutes. I can tell you from personal experience and by just checking my comment section that 15 minutes is not nearly enough time to inform you accurately on a lot of different topics. What we try to do here on YouTube is give you the baseline. We try to educate you with the time that we have. But what this means is that by watching a Graham Stephan video or even one of my videos, you are not going to be fully educated on the entire issue at hand. There is going to be a lot more information, and what we try to do is cover the topic in multiple different ways and talk about it multiple times in order to sort of fill in the gaps. But we can't count on you watching every single video, so we try to get the big info and the most pertinent and important info into one solid topic. Like I said, that means things get missed, and if you solely watch a Graham Stephan video, for instance, and you come off that video thinking that you are an expert in the topic, well, I can tell you that this is just not true. This is just going to be a baseline, and what I try to do over here on this channel is I try to talk about the issues in a way that sort of piques your interest to find out more information on the topic. I just want to spread awareness and let you know about the things that are happening right now. And yes, that could be educating you along the way, but this one video that I made on the housing market or the US dollar is not a substitute for a full-on college course on that topic. Plus, you've got to remember that typically our audiences are very broad, so somebody that knows nothing about this entire topic, well, they need to be caught up to speed and they need to be entertained, or else they're going to leave. I mean, why else are you on YouTube? If you really wanted to learn all of this information, then you could take a college course on all of this. But because it's free and on YouTube, the information and the education is going to be very different. Like I said before, this is not calling anybody out. I love the content that Graham Stephan and Andre Zick make. I'm not saying that they're trying to trick you or trying to lie to you, but you have to keep everything in perspective. Now, those are some of the best creators out there in this industry, and I really do believe they have their audience's best interest in mind when they make their content. But there are also a lot of bad content creators out there who are just trying to make money off of getting views and scaring people, and you have to be educated enough to know the difference. That is what this ultimately comes down to. Now, this goes for financial YouTubers, this goes for news outlets. You need to be educated on what is actually happening and the purpose of the content that you're watching in order to make the best decisions with your money possible. YouTube has created a lot of great opportunities for people to learn whatever they want whenever they want to, but it is not a substitute for a formal education. You have to keep going. You have to do your own research and your own due diligence when buying things, when researching things, when investing in things. Don't just take somebody's word for it. Like I say that all the time, but that also applies to the information that I'm giving you. I am just a random dude on the internet. Anybody can create a YouTube channel and claim to be an expert, so you have to be very careful with the creators that you choose to consume content from. If you don't, well, then you could end up losing a lot of money by listening to people that don't really know what they're talking about. And at the end of the day, remember this, the whole idea here is to keep people on the platform, and that is exactly how creators make money. The longer you stay engaged, the more money a creator can make. That means the content cannot be boring. It means that it has to engage you. Otherwise, you could just go to a classroom classroom. We're giving you all the same information that you can learn by watching traditional news, or by reading an article, or like I said, by taking a college class. What creators like to do is entertain, and they try to also educate while they're entertaining, but at the end of the day, that's all this is entertainment, not formal education. So can you trust content creators and financial influencers? Well, maybe. I mean, do your research and know what to do with the financial education that they're giving you, and you might be able to take what they say and do something with it. One of the best pieces of financial advice that I have ever heard in my life is that if you have to solely go to a financial advisor because you have no idea how to handle your money, well, that financial advisor is probably going to screw you over. They're going to scam you because you don't know what to do with your money in the first place. Now, I'm not saying financial advisors are bad or wrong, but they are just there to advise you. At the end of the day, you need to know what to do with your money. The same can be said about influencers online, and particularly financial influencers. They're going to tell you a lot of things. They're going to make bold predictions. They're going to give you a lot of info. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to sort of filter out all of the information from your own perspective. They're going to give you a lot of stuff, and you have to figure out what is actually the most valuable thing to you. That way, the information actually helps you, and you're not just blindly listening to somebody on the internet. I'm really grateful that people have given me a chance to talk about all of these different financial topics on the internet, but for the love of God, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, please do not listen to me. But that is it for today's business and financial news breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date with all the top business and financial news from around the country, our team puts together a free daily newsletter, and you can subscribe to it by clicking the link in this corner right here. And if you want to stay up to date with me and everything else happening in the business and financial world, I'm putting out updates 7 days a week over here on this channel, and I've actually got another one ready for you right here, so be sure to check that out before you go. That is it for me, everybody. Be kind out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.